Cause ain't nothing on that
on that
man.
man bony.
Let me stop. We just got off of another show. Okay, I had a moment.
Hi,
Hey everybody.
thank you for tuning in to
La la la, clink,
Clink,
clink.
the recap show, where we are recapping the Bounce Original Johnson. Again, it's on Bounce Original.
And we didn't say Johnson's.
Right?
We said Johnson.
You know how we like to add an S every time. I'm
Right.
sure I've said Johnson so many times over here.
Me too.
And so
Welcome.
yeah, on Bounce. So it's season 4. It's going to be premiering, I believe, August 3rd, around there.
And we are so excited about that.
Yes.
Hey y'all.
So we are doing season 3 episodes 5 and 6.
Yep. Okay. So here we go. Jarvis walks into a messy kitchen. He is not happy. The room is a total mess. And Jarvis tells him, am I saying his name right? Because I'm trying to get it
Jarvis.
Jarvis tells Greg, you're my brother, but you gotta go.
Yeah, he still had wine glasses and food
from the night before.
From the night before with Wanda. You know, they was getting it on. So
and he told him, oh yeah, and by the way, we went through a couple of bottles of wine. So Wanda took a Uber home. She's gonna come back and get her car later. And his face is just like
I don't
like
care
what?
about no damn
like
Wanda. That's what
right.
he was
like
looking.
What? He says, you know what, bro? Let's just talk. We have 2 totally different lifestyles going on here, and you may need to go with Keith for a while. Because, you know, Keith got that little 1 bedroom.
So while Jarvis is explaining to him, you know, why they had 2 different lifestyles, he's thinking back to, he had like this look on his face, like, yes. He's like, because he still
Greg
had
has
this
a look on his face.
Greg, yes, because Greg still had that squatter in his home. So he's thinking back to what he was saying. Yeah. So he's like, he got the light bulb came on in his head.
So Jarvis isn't feeling whatever Greg is thinking. He's looking at him like he's crazy, but he tells him that he's going to need a favor from Kim, Keith, and Omar for what he's doing. So at this point, I'm watching this and I'm like, this is interesting. What could he be thinking?
You talking about Jarvis?
Yeah, I said at this point when I was looking at this, I was thinking, what could Greg be thinking about at this point? Like, what could he be thinking? Like, what's up? It made me be real interested. So in the next scene, we see that Robin and Omar go for a run, and she teases him about having chicken legs, which we all know is a lie, because ain't nothing on that man
bony.
Let me stop. We just got off of another show. Okay, I had a moment.
I'm going to watch Thursday's show with the sex therapist.
Yes.
Okay.
So he tells her, girl, I am well proportioned. So they take off on a run. And you can clearly see that Robin is feeling a little flirty, friendly, but wanting to get a little bit more friendly vibes going on.
She did, but Omar, he confronted Robin and asked her why she turned in Bianca like that. She knew that he did not want her arrested, but she was like, I was doing my job. But I'm like, Robin, you know, you wanted to get up in there. You want some brownie points.
You sure do. So she comes back at him like, you know that you were being watched, right? She's trying to use all that lawyer ease.
Right.
And then she got an attitude. She was like, so you were willing to risk your freedom over her? And you know that face was just like, over her?
Y'all know how we do, ladies.
You know. So we all know that he thought she was pregnant. So his protectiveness came from him thinking that he was protecting his child. It wasn't over her per se.
Right.
So we have learned that Omar totally has heroic intentions. He's just that guy.
He is that guy, but
I guess he never heard the song Captain Save-A-Ho.
Yes.
I want to be saved.
Even though I don't blind, he can save me.
And she ain't no hoe, but he can save her.
So next thing we see, I forget his mama name. I have Miss Shelley or Miss Shirley, one of them. Keith's mama. she had both Keith and Booker in the same role, so they can get along. And Booker is doing the most, girl.
Booker
He is
is
doing the
he telling him
most.
that he called his mama Riri. He like, what?
Right. When she come in the room, he look at her like, okay, all
Right.
right.
She made Booker some homemade guacamole.
Yeah.
And so Keith is looking like, when you start making homemade guacamole? And she told him, ever since Booker bought me this international cookbook. And she is like on cloud 9. Mm-hmm. And then he tells Keith, yeah, I call her Riri, but she calls me Papa Bear.
Right.
And then he's looking at him with this little snide remark on his face. Keith is not happy.
He is not happy. He keep calling him light skin and this and that. I'm like, okay. So Keith basically he was like, I don't play about my mama. And then you heard when he was like, calm down, John Legend.
They have some really good lines in here.
He was doing the absolute most.
He was antagonizing
him. Yes, he was.
I was like, okay. So he gonna tell him, and by the way, next time you need to call before you come because I like walking around in the buff. I was like, oh my God. He should have socked you in your face talking about some. When his mom comes back into the room, they play nice because, of course, Keith doesn't want to upset his mom.
So next we go back to Omar and Robin, and Robin was saying that, okay, so you're gonna try to get Naomi back, right? And so he was like, he doubt that she'll take him back, but Robin trying to fill out like what you about to do, Omar? Well, I don't blame you, girl.
Omar tells her that Robin is dating this powerful investor and all this stuff, and he says he knows because he ran his name off of the receipt from the cigar bar. And we know that Naomi did want a man with some means and some money. It was alluded to in previous episodes. So he said he was with that Shamara Moore
stunt double.
But Robin's doing too much because she's like, well, as loving and warm and all these compliments. I'm like,
I'm like, girl, if
Naomi need to whoop your head.
Your thirst could not be more pronounced at this moment.
Right. And she's like, she's quite sure that she doesn't want to lose out on a loving, compassionate man like him. Right. I was like, build up that black man. Yes, stab your sister in the back because they going through something. Ooh. No. But okay.
Okay, so next we see Caleb playing football with his friends in his front yard, and his dad Omar and Greg, they are on the porch, watching them, and they're just talking.
So Greg says that Robin snitched, and Greg says that he feels sorry for Bianca because she was just trying to
hustle her way up to the top like everybody else.
Yeah. And then he said, and then she came across a gullible victim. Easy like gullible. You. Yeah. And she used you to her advantage. And then he asked him, did he tell Naomi what happened about her Bianca not being pregnant? And Omar like, you don't know Naomi. She don't care about none of that.
Right. So Omar tell Greg the issue he had. Oh yeah. So Omar tell Greg. Because Greg was asking these questions. He was like, do I hear pitter patter little feet? Like you getting baby fever? So
he's asking him a lot about fatherhood.
Yeah, about fatherhood, and he said that he, that's when he spilled the beans. He said that he's gonna thinking about being, Wanda's baby daddy. And Omar tells Greg this. He said the issue is when you have a child with the wrong person. He said your blessing can be a nightmare.
Yeah, he said it makes it all the difference. Omar and Greg decide to, for whatever reason, challenge these young boys playing football. And Omar tells him they talking junk back and forth. And so Greg gets in his feelings because, we think Greg think that he's super young guy. And he think he going to go down there and play ball with these boys. So Omar like, I don't know, dog, because these boys are something different. They something different right now. So Greg's like, let's do it. And this young boy called him bald. So he said, okay, when we beat y'all, I'm going to shave your head. I was like, how you going to say that to a little kid?
He said it.
So Caleb tackles Greg and hurts his shoulder and hurts Greg's arm. And then Greg says he thinks he broke his arm.
Yeah, Caleb had he broke his knee. He had a contusion in the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Messed his knee
contusion
up.
in his knee because Naomi and Omar they are in the waiting room of the probably like the emergency room.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why don't she want him playing football? I'm like the way she just.
I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
just say this
girl.
though, and I don't know if they did this on purpose, but
Mhm.
honey, Naomi is sitting in the waiting room. She got her hair different. She
Oh
got a
yeah,
glow,
she
honey.
did.
She was
She did.
sharp. She got a confidence that
Her
I
face
have
was
not
beat.
seen before, honey. She glowing, okay? She had that glow like that. I got that new piece,
That new
piece of
ping.
mind,
That new ping.
little piece of mind.
Ooh.
So as they're sitting
She got
there,
that new ping glow.
she's so cold. She's so cold. And she tells him that Caleb can't play football anymore and that he has to tell him that he
He
can't
has to
play.
tell him, so he has to cave
Be the bad
in,
guy.
be the bad guy. So he agrees to not let Caleb do it, and then of course he had to. I said he had to. I said he was a little dick. He said because he wasn't honest with. Wait a minute. So Omar tells Naomi she saw him. Yes, when he saw
He tells her
him
that he
her with
saw you with the
the
Shamar
Shamar
lookalike at
lookalike.
the bar, and she looks
Like you got your nerve.
but she looking like no, her feelings was hurt because she knew
Mm-mm.
he knew that she went out on a date because don't nobody want to get caught because at the end of the day they are still married.
They are still married, but she's trying
Okay.
to downplay it though. But
Yeah.
it's like he's just a friend.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm like, how can he have a? She said he has an unbiased opinion and give advice. How can it be unbiased?
Now when you on a date,
He is. Ooh,
talking about he's a huge account holder for my firm.
right. He's a
Okay.
friend,
And he
and
listens to
you
me.
telling he's not going to be unbiased,
And you fine too.
right? He's
Ain't no
going to
man
want to
gonna be
hit.
that
Come
part. And
on,
then he
I
has
know she's
a
not that stupid.
unbiased listening. She don't care. He got that money. She like hit this boo. And he
Girl.
fine too. The dude was fine.
Yeah, he is
He is,
fine.
but
He
he
was
look he
fine.
don't use the Shamar more though. He look like himself. And I like it. Okay, but anyway, he tells her that Bianca's not pregnant and she looks surprised, hurt, confused all the
All
same
that.
time.
Yeah.
And then she tells her basically, like, I don't want to talk about this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she walks away. But like I said, you could tell she's sexy. She would look like she had been kissed by the sun. She was glowing and glistening. And then had on a
Girl,
real
her
short.
bronzer was nice. And the
Yes.
highlight. I'm like, okay, makeup artist.
And then she had on that little bitty skirt. I was like, you better wear your skirt.
Her hair was in the wrap. I'm like, okay, girl.
And I got in my notes, she got that new look like when you get that new deep deep.
Oh. Yeah, friend. Okay. Uh-huh.
That's that security.
Right. So we are at the spot, where they go to. There's an indie artist up there singing. He sounds good, like they all do.
Yeah, they do.
And so Omar is with Keith and Greg. So they're at the bar, and Omar is telling Keith and Greg that he spoke with Naomi, and she's not trying to hear him out right now.
She was so nonchalant about everything, and then Jarvis pops up.
Yep, he pops up,
and he says he tells him the story about his fathers going about each other. Like the two seniors. He said it lasted all of 7 seconds. Right. And his father ended up with an asthma attack, as we know.
Yeah.
And they all laughed and they joked about him not being a Johnson. He said about himself not being a Johnson. And they told him, no matter what, bro, you will always be a Johnson. Yeah. But then you got Keith throwing that shade.
Keith is something else.
Talking about he need to hyphenate his
name. Nelson Johnson. I'm like, yeah, okay, Keith.
So Jarvis is still loving, and he tells Keith that he got him a job, a photo shoot for a magazine cover, and so we're excited about that because the bros are always looking out for each other.
Yeah. So at this point, they're drinking up, and so Greg said, "Don't get too drunk because we got the thing to do in the morning." Yeah. So then we go to
the next thing. is the music is blaring and that squatter is laying in the bed and he like looking around like, what in the heck? Who is in this house? Like his sleep was disturbed.
Girl,
okay.
I'm like, you squatting somebody else's house and you have the audacity
but he was sleeping like a baby. But he was sleeping like a baby. If they would have showed a close up, probably would have been slobbing. That's how hard he was sleeping. So he was like, he opens up the door. He's like, who are you? So
it was Jarvis brushing his teeth. He just got through dropping a couple of deuces.
Right.
And he smelled it too, right? He was like, damn,
right. He was doing that in the bathroom. He talking about, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then Keith is sitting at the table eating the man's cereal.
Yeah, he is.
Him and Omar sitting there chilling. And he said, I think this is going to work out. And so Greg comes in and says, these are all of our new roommates. Trying to scare the guy off. And the guy was like, oh, I ain't worried about it. I grew up with 10 brothers and 30 sisters or however many. Right. He's talking about some. I'm used to being uncomfortable.
They started kind of like coming on to him a little bit. Wasn't it? Because Omar was like messing with his beard cover.
Yeah. And he looking like what? He was like, oh yeah, and by the way, Omar gonna sleep in the room with you. So get you some earplugs because he snores like, really loud.
But so yeah, they got his ass out though.
They did.
They got him out.
But the thing that was so disgusting is Jarvis was chewing on a toothbrush the whole time. God. And then he found out that it was the squatter's toothbrush. Nasty. He did not grab the other toothbrush. So he was like, oh my God, I've been chewing on this man's spit. He was pissed. So the next scene opens up with Omar and Keith at the man yoga spot called Brogies. It's a new craze. Like, and then he finds out that he's like the third person Keith is brought there.
And he gets a free month
every time he brings somebody.
So he already brought 3 people. So, he brought the other guys. Like he wrong for that.
He getting his
I mean, hey.
You gotta do what you gotta do when you got no money, honey. Sure.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Actually, that's really smart. You guys use coupons are cool, and whatever you can get for free, get it. That's all I got to say. And so then we see Jarvis at the house, and he hears somebody ring the doorbell. Girl. And guess who is it, girl?
Did you expect it to be Lisa?
No. I was like, eh.
She's like, oh, I think I was in the neighborhood, and I think I left my diamond earrings here in the drawer. He was like, I don't think so. He said, you could have just called.
You can go up there.
But you can go ahead.
He was like, I doubt they're there, but you can check.
I'm like, girl, come on now.
Like, and he was sitting there for a while because he in the living room. What she really was doing, she probably was coming over there trying to see if he had a woman in the house so she could gauge how she was going to respond to him or how the conversation was going to go. That's what she was trying to do. Ain't nobody stupid. So
I hate it when she, because she had came down the steps and she's like, oh no, they weren't up there. Of course they weren't, bitch. They weren't up there.
You took everything you needed when you left. And you weren't going to leave no diamonds behind, trust.
I hate it. What did you feel when she was like, I gave you the house. They already had a divorce. I gave you the house because I didn't feel safe. Like, you gave him the house.
No, you gave him the house because you were being bougie. You were being an ass. And I also thought about it. I was like, how do you know that, y'all got married, but he may have had, that was his house. That's what he bought. So sometimes you get what you come with. And then sometimes y'all don't have any kids. When you don't have no kids, divorces go a lot easier. You just leave, with what you came for. But
he was like, so but you want me to be more appreciative? You want me to say thank you? She said, that would have been great.
But she's acting so entitled.
And then she said, Jarvis said, thank you for being a mature adult. Like, you're supposed to act like this way.
And not being messy. Girl. And then she tries to get the sympathy. But, I know about what happened with your parents, and I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
And I wasn't there for you.
To support you.
Just like I wasn't there for you.
A lot of things. Stop it. And he is just sitting there stone faced.
He was like, what else? That's it. Jarvis, okay. Jarvis like
stone face, and she's standing there looking stupid, and he's like,
"Don't you care?"
Right? No, he was just looking at her like, Like, why are we having this conversation? The divorce papers have been signed. That's what you wanted. You got what you wanted. And so she said that Greg posted, of course, Greg can't hold water.
In his story, I'm like, why
About
is he
the
telling?
parents. And she's looking stupid. She wants him to open the door and trying to see if she seemed like she had been drinking. Girl, you probably was drinking somewhere and you
Like,
feeling a certain type of way. So she's talking about, I'm just extending my condolences.
It could have gotten nasty.
I'm extending my condolences to a man that I was in love with
and a man in love with
that I still love. I was like, and he was so cold with that look on his face.
Done.
Right. So she walks out and he like, I don't know what to say. Like, okay, all right, bye. But I was laughing at the toenail polish on the yoga instructor. I'm not mad, but when I looked at it this time to do the review, I was like, okay, black toenail polish come through, and it was glossy too.
So I have my notes that Keith and Omar in yoga, and Omar is struggling.
He was struggling.
He was struggling.
His body was so tight. Man, it's okay to do yoga. It will help in a lot of areas.
Loosen you up. I love yoga.
Yes. He was like, I'm going to kill you because he can hardly move. See, when he's in the gym, he is the king. But in yoga, he is not the king. So Keith is so excited because he's like, I'm finally good at something that you're not.
I was like, don't. Keith got the win. Okay.
Yes. And this is, I'm trying to say, the yoga instructor says less talking and more breathing.
Oh, right. So, excuse me. The next scene we see Greg is washing dishes, and the chef. He let the chef know that he's about to take his lunch and run an errand. The chef said, "Okay, but make sure you come back from the lunch rush."
Yes.
And then he was like, "I got you."
Girl, right. And he rushes. But you know good and damn well that you are in Atlanta traffic and you know you cannot just run. So it just goes to show that Greg still, he just got this unrealistic thing in his mind or whatever. But anyway, Jackie is talking to Keith and he's expressing his concerns about the rent increase in his building. And she's like, well, I could move in and I could help you out a little bit.
Pay one bill, the cheap one.
And pay one bill.
I'm like, she's trying to slide in.
Right. She was like, she says that her father has been asking about the thing of pictures, and if he can't get to them, that he just needs to go ahead and return the box.
I'm like, so petty.
Right. But he hands her over an envelope because he finished the pictures, and it was a cute little baby picture. I think it was of her dad or whatever. And so then he shows her the photo of the guys from the Griffin group, the ones who are building condos in that area. And he tells her that he plans to ask him about it at the next city council meeting. And she looks perplexed.
She did. She was like, why? Why are you going to, what you going to do?
There?
But then she was just like, oh, okay. Girl, but
she asked him, was he serious though? She was like, are you serious? And he's like, I love the fact you can see the characters are evolving. You can see that Omar is becoming more open to things. You can see the growth with Greg, and that as he is maturing, the wheels in his head is turning about, I know he said in one part, well, we'll get to that, but he does say coming up in another part that he feels like he's overlooked in his life. And I think that that's why he's starting to take charge over the things in his life, because he wants to change. He doesn't want to always be looked upon as that guy that can't never get it right. Yeah. He's ready to get it right.
Yeah. So I said, what the hell? I said, what the hell, Greg? So Greg is at LaQuisha's house. And she asked about him, and Greg apologized to LaQuisha for not calling her back in a couple of days. He said he's been busy, but she was like, that's cool. I'm not tripping, but communicate. She said, but he trying to explain to her why ghosting is a good thing, because if that person don't call you back and they ghosted you, that they weren't feeling you or something. I'm like, boy, stop.
She looking at him like, boy, bye.
Right, girl, what do you think of him?
So, but she said, we hung out. You stayed over for a couple of days, and he made a point to say, I slept on the couch. Yeah. And then he realized that he could have called her back, but he said, I'm just being honest. Yeah. It would be wrong for us to take it there knowing that I just was with your girl. And she said that she would have went there, but she didn't tell her girl anything
because it was nothing to tell,
wasn't
really,
nothing to tell.
because they didn't go.
But
and so LaQuisha mentions to him, "Oh, Serena broke up with Lenny."
mm-hmm.
He was like, "What? So what's the dude name?" She was like, "Who said it's a guy?" I'm like, "She done went to women, girl. I can't."
He said she was with somebody new, and it was she walked away. But I love Q's hair in that. She had cut all her hair off. Your hair was bad.
Isn't it cute?
Yes, I don't know who you got to do your hair, but your hair was bad. I like that look. That look was everything.
Yeah.
So the next scene is showing Greg in traffic, and he's frustrated because he's looking at his watch.
Be back, but like you said though, nigga, you are in Atlanta traffic.
You know
Atlanta traffic.
Didn't you learn your lesson when you was buying the lottery ticket that day when he gave you the chance the first time? That's what pissed me off. He saw him looking. He came back and Chef was looking at him like, "Look, Negro, I'm trying to run a business. It's a sink full of dishes during the lunch rush. Busy. Where were you?
And my customers, they don't give a damn if I don't have no more plates.
They need clean plates, and nobody cares about your personal problems and your little errands. Come on, Greg, get it together."
So Greg let him down. He let down Chef Williams.
And he said, "Oh, so you firing me?" He said, "No, you fired yourself." So Greg starts pleading his case about being a dishwasher and how he's never hadn't anybody look up to all this time. And
you're supposed to be my mentor, my role model. You're supposed to show me how to cook.
You're supposed to have your ass on time. You're supposed to have your ass on time. We learned that in school. That's why we go to school at 8:00 in the morning. If you can get your ass to school, you can get your ass to a job. That's what they setting us up for. But he says that he's tired of being overlooked and mistreated, and at the end of the day, he really messed up. And when he didn't have enough time to get to work, sometimes you just got to grow up, like I said. And so then he gonna tell him he quit. He ain't got to worry about it. You got fired.
You got fired.
So stop it.
You got fired. So Keith, Omar, and Greg, they're at Caleb's night game.
And Keith is so damn corny because he's hollering for the wrong team.
Right. And Caleb is not playing because, he hurt his knee. And so they asked where Jarvis was. So it flashes to Jarvis. He's having dinner with Antoinette. The cougar, Antoinette.
Yes, and Antoinette is offering him like a little.
So they ordered up a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, Jarvis says, "Let us order." I like when he ordered the best champagne that they had. And he said, "You know what? We're going to let bygones be bygones." And he ordered as much food, the most expensive escargot,
lobster,
everything.
All that. He ordered it.
And he asked her, "Why are you always trying to sabotage my business? What did I ever do to you? I have trained people. You've stolen the people that I've trained." And he don't get it. But I thought it was a good little snapback when he ordered the best champagne they had because she gave that client that cheap champagne in the other episode.
She cheap.
And then she gonna tell him like, you just got to do what you got to do. She's talking about if the sale was yours, I could have never took them from you.
Right. Like, no, you poached him. It's like you poached two of his best people that he trained.
Right.
You got them.
So you just do what you want to do.
You always taking stuff, and they just eating and drinking. So she proposed. It actually flashes back to Caleb's team playing. And so they're asking Greg how's his new gig is going, and he tell the fellas he got fired. He got fired quick because
he hasn't been able to cook.
Right.
Making excuses. He's talking about he feels like it's a complete waste of time.
He always quits stuff, and his friends call him on it.
Yeah.
And say, "I do. You have to do something because you always quitting at something."
Yeah. So he says that I like when Keith made the little joke about the principal. Talking about you have to learn the principal, but you should know the principal because you was dating the principal. You get it? So he is loud. And Omar is like, if you don't be quiet, there's all these parents around here, and we just got Wanda through the daggone bull crap, and you out here telling her business.
He was loud as hell. He was. They was like, Keith.
Right. So Omar tells Greg that you need to learn how to do what you got to do. You got to play
Yes,
the
you gotta play the
game.
game. We do. We have to play the game
You got to play the
sometimes.
game. So then it shows Antoinette and Jarvis at the dinner
Mm-hmm.
table, and she is sipping on that champagne. And
She just drinking it up.
he said he wanted to make sure it was chilled just right for her. And she said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, that's so thoughtful of you," because she feeling herself.
She is,
So
and she proposed something to Jarvis. She
mhm.
proposed that he work for her,
Not with her,
right? For her.
for her. She downplayed him and his competence and his work ethic and tells him that his business is a mom and pop shop
Compared
compared
to
to hers. I
hers.
was
Talking
like,
about
well,
some, she's the
dang.
number one and he's number 10 and falling.
Yes. And he says, I don't have to steal people's business. And he tells her that she should work. He tells her that the world is your oyster because he's playing up to her because she's full of
Mm-hmm.
bull crap. She's always doing stuff. So Antoinette is totally stroking her own ego. And Jarvis tells her that he has to go to the bathroom. He'll be right back.
He said, "I'll so Antoinette tell Jarvis it's a one-time offer, and he better hurry up." He says,
I'll give you my answer
he
when
said,
I
"I'll
get
give
back
you
from
my
the
answer
bathroom."
when I come back." He said, "When I come back, you have my answer." So
Mm-hmm.
it shows some time has passed, and she's still at the table waiting on him.
She
And
ordered herself another drink. That's
she
how long she was
realized that
waiting.
she got stood that he was gone. She
He bust
realized
up
it,
on her.
so she had to pay.
Yes.
And next thing we see, we hear a ding dong.
And then she opens the door
Girl,
and she's like, "You
wasn't
didn't."
Jarvis looking good,
He
girl?
was. He had his shirt off, his little
Oh, girl, I was
tattoo.
like,
I was like, "That's
okay,
good, Jarvis."
Hey, Derek's. I know
Right.
you married, happily married, but hey,
You cute. You fine.
you
Yeah.
cute, you cute.
So Antoinette is pissed. She's like, "You did not have to dine and dash."
Exactly.
But it's his loss, and she's going to bill him for that dinner and that drink. She is not happy when you see her pop up at Jervis's house. But when she saw him with that shirt off, she kind of changed her little
She
tune
like, ain't
too.
nobody ever told me. No, it's kind of sexy. So they
Mm-hmm.
make out.
She was like, "I didn't know you had a backbone."
That's sexy to me, boo boo. So
Mm-hmm.
he picked her up, they make out and all that.
Mm-hmm. He
And
carried her
then
up the
he carried
stairs.
her.
I
I
was
was
like,
like, okay, young bucks,
okay.
strapping young bucks.
Yes,
All right
yes.
there. But and then of course, they didn't have sex because she gets up and he looks over. She's getting herself situated
And he said, I was going to order breakfast because,
for
he is
us.
a class act. And she says, no, I have business meetings. I have to go. She didn't even wash. But anyway, I was like, I ain't right. Jarvis grabs, he handled his business. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then they show them waking up what Antoinette got dressed. And I think that's just about the end of it because she said she had an early morning and he said he does too.
She said she was trying to kiss him and he thought she was going to go in for the kiss as well. But she was like, "You're gonna Venmo me everything we have for dinner." So I'm curious. And that was it, y'all. That was it. It was the Johnsons. I can't wait for the new. But yes.
And Antoinette is a boss. She got some
She's
salsa in her. I like Antoinette. I ain't like her at first because I was like, she kind of bold, but she like a high powered Bianca. She do what she got to do to get what she want. You got to use what you got.
Play the game
to get what you want. You got to use.
You got to use it
to get what you want.
To get what you want. And what you desire and what you need. Okay.
So don't ever sleep on the power of the P. And with that being said, thank you for joining us for Clink. Remember, watch the Johnsons.
Bye.
Bye.